Hey everybody, Ken and Brandon here for Thursday night commentary, CCG, Poker TV. Hi Brandon, how are you?
Great, how are you?
How was your first week of the NFL?
Pretty good.
Good? Did you win anything? Fantasy football stuff?
3 fantasy
DFS?
leagues.
Nice.
3-0.
3-0?
3 high score of the weeks.
3 high scores of the week?
Yes. So I'm in first place in all 3 leagues.
Nice. You just end it right now.
I know.
And you just told me like a 20-minute Antonio Brown story.
Crazy town.
That was a pretty cool story. I recorded it, so maybe we'll release it later.
Please don't.
Okay, so back to the heads up here for the CSOP Main Event Final Table. This is going to be the finale of this 3-part series. It's only about 45 minutes long, which is great. It's also crazy that they played heads up for this long.
Yeah, and this amount of money.
And for the fact that, like, Mark had Gerry 20 minutes ago, $4.2 million to, like, $800K.
Yeah.
And now we are, after a couple of Gerry double-ups, we are down to...
Looks like Mark has 1.8,
1.8.
Gerry has 3.2.
Yeah, $5 million all day,
Yeah.
right? Roughly speaking.
Yeah, so 1.5 to 1 for Gerry. A little more, 1.8 to 1 or something like that. A little less than 2 to 1. That's the correct way to say that.
A little less than 2 to 1. That's nuts.
Yeah.
And you can see the trophy there on the railing.
Trophy looks good.
Trophy looks
I'm
great.
not a trophy guy, and it looks good.
It's a good-looking trophy, right?
Yes.
I like it. Ugh, why do I always think that I like Perrier like sparkling water? It tastes like I don't know. I
do the same thing with like bubble.
I can't stand those things.
They're terrible.
Why do you millennials love like sparkling water drinks?
You gotta get the ice ones.
Those are good
skinny
because those are sweet.
Yeah.
They don't have any sweeteners in them, right?
Well, no.
I mean, they have to. They're sweet. I will say in this little 45 minutes of play, Gerry and Mark do have some trouble getting their cards on the circles, which is kind of troublesome.
We got mystery hands.
We do have some mystery hands. So here's Gerry with King Queen suited. Bronco in the background, watching his horse.
So they're still super deep, right?
I mean, blinds
30K to
are
call.
30-60, right? So he's on the button, so the blinds are 30-60. So, I mean, yes and no.
So Jerry's got 50 bigs, means Mark's got 20, which is
not. You're not in panic mode yet.
No, not at all. You can definitely. You don't have to defend every
There's still some play in here.
There's a lot of play. It's not like the main event. Both of them 200 blinds, deep each. But. So Jerry's been choosing big sizes all day. I think he's just going to keep going. He wants to price Mark out of these spots. I don't know if he knows that Mark is, good and will play correctly.
Right.
But
because Mark makes a lot of final tables,
right.
And he makes final tables with huge chip stacks. I'm a guy who I feel like I can make final tables, but I'm always squeaking it.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm never like full blown. I mean, there's points we hit like 60% of the chips in play. What are you looking at my shirt for?
I didn't know that you wore anything white.
I do. I'm wearing a white shirt today.
It's crazy.
It's cold in here. Marky Mark, 9-deuce suited. The old 29 gives it a rip back and chucks it right back at Mo. Gerry had him dominated too.
10-9.
So heads up play. I feel like this is something that we don't really get to see very often in charity poker, right?
Yeah.
More often than not, the levels are catching up with you because they're one-day tournaments. Most of the tournaments are not this deep, right? You're basically at that point. It's beneficial to chop it up rather than play it out.
Even around four-handed is when it starts. It's like more than second. It's like second place money to chop. Like why wouldn't you chop?
You level up 2 spots. It's like
so you have to win the tournament outright to do better than chopping it 4 ways.
And most people are just happy to
chop it.
I am. I mean, I made. Remember that really dumb move I made at HBT?
Yes.
Where I didn't make that move, or they didn't make that chop.
It was more than second place money.
It cost me like $3,000, right?
Yeah.
Good chop by me. It was principle. I wasn't going to let that kid win, and he wanted to win. Whatever. That was pretty cool because it was Allison and I, brother and sister, and then the random PLO pro.
And I was the one who brought them. I'm like, come play this PLO tournament. And I'm the one just having to get drunk because they're
just drinking. And
I'm just like,
Allison and I are just crushing this tournament. All right, another big raise from Gerry. Before we can even enter in the raise, Mark folds.
So Jerry's bombing these 30-60. He's making
he's 150. Yeah, I think that one I just entered in 150. It looked like he pumped out a lot of brown chips.
Right. So most of the time, if people are gonna be making it like 130, 140.
Right. What?
So Jerry's just gonna raise less hands.
How do you? I mean, give the players some insight here, Brando. When you're playing heads up, no limit. It's something that people don't play very often,
it's hard.
Right?
It's very hard.
Because like, how do you
get down? Like, you can just get crushed if you don't know what you're doing, or like you play too passive. It's like hard to find a line of like playing aggressive, but then like not spewing your chips off.
Right. It always reminds me of what you said about how it was like, oh, you play 8 hands, you win 7 small pots, and then you lose the big one, and you net. You're down money. And it's like, I just won 7 out of the last 8 hands, and I have less chips than when I started 8 hands ago.
Right. Especially deep, heads up is very, very tough to play.
Yeah. Good insight there.
I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
So
Mark's going to open on the button here. The 140, he's choosing the small sizing. This is an easy call for Gerry.
Wheel draw.
Wheel draw, and this is just going to be advantage Mark here.
Yeah, unless Gerry bets into him, which it looks like he's thinking about. He checks. Mark's trying to figure out the amount of money he can bet and get him to fold, yeah?
Right, yeah.
Is this considered a semi-bluff, being that he's got a gut shot?
Yeah, I mean, he's just like using his like range.
Looks like about 140.
Here. Like, he's using that, like, any super good hand by Gerry, like,
should have opened
ace 10 plus,
or should have 3-bet him.
Well, 3-bet,
right?
So he's he's got some weak aces, but like Mark has all the aces. Mark has ace king, ace queen, ace jack, ace 10. All the aces are in Mark's. Where like Gerry just has 2 random cards. He had 2 pretty good random cards in queen 9 suited, but still missed.
Total whiff on the flop, and it's just that's how heads up goes.
Yeah, that's why like bottom pair and heads up is like kind of crazy town.
All right, so we're at like 60-40. Give or take, a little bit better than that. 65-35 is really where we're at.
So, like, the one thing that I noticed is, like, Mark raises small and kind of invites Gerry in because he wants to play post flop.
Right.
Where Gerry is just going to raise big, trying to take down the blinds and not play too many hands post flop.
Right. It's good. You see it was hand number 83?
Yeah.
I mean, this was a long final table. I mean, it was like 4 hours. And I say final table, that's not the whole final table. That is just the top 7. Yeah. That's wild. Is that a check call?
Gerry limped and Mark checked, yeah. So that is one button strategy we talked about last time. Like, you can just limp. If you're gonna limp the button with all your bad hands, like, you should limp the button.
Some good hands too.
And
called balance.
Raise everything in the middle. So like, if Jerry's limping with 4 deuce, like, he should limp ace queen. So like, Mark doesn't know that.
Always
every
know.
time Gerry limps,
he's got a big hand.
He's got it. Yeah. Or every time Gerry limps, he's got a bad hand. I mean, these heads up hands end up coming down to 60-40s.
Now, is it something that you think about, being that the big blind's putting in 90K to your 30K? I mean, is there like a...
It shouldn't matter. Yeah. Like, mentally it might a little bit, but
right. It feels like it should.
At 30, it's just dead.
I have a hard time doing that.
It's dead. It's like you can't. Sure. All right, so Mark takes the limp strategy with the jack 3. Jerry's checking back to 10-5 off. All right, kind of a coolery flop here.
Yep.
Marky second pair, Gerry
open ender. 5's not really going to help Gerry, though. Looks like he's going to bet out his straight draw, though.
And like, aggression just puts people... Oh, he did.
Oh, yeah, he was counting out chips and then moved them to the other side, which I think he was just... I don't think there was an angly or anything. Yeah. I think he was just counting him down and not that he wasn't paying attention, but...
Wasn't paying attention that, like, it looked like he was betting.
Correct.
Like, he
wasn't trying to get Mark to check back, being that he,
So look at this. This is a pretty tight.
And we might have even missed...
The flop.
He did.
There's check, folded the flop.
Wow. And what was the bet on the turn?
It's $85 on the flop.
85,000.
85 and full.
Oh, no problem. Bye. That was special guest Bert again, thanking me for lunch. We got Poke Bowl. This
I should have got it.
I know it's
I
so
don't know why.
good.
You texted me.
I did, and then Bert came in like 5 minutes later. He's like, "Hey, do you want to get lunch?" Or he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go get lunch." I was like, "Why don't we just order that Poke Bowl, which is really good?"
It is.
My wife eats there. I kid you not, 4 days a week.
Yeah, I eat
because
there
her office, where she works, is in downtown Naperville, so it's just down the street, and like all of the girls like it, and it's moderately healthy. I don't know how healthy it is.
It's pretty healthy.
I mean, and we don't get any like
The sauces are what's bloaty bad.
yeah. Anyways, if you guys like
Aloha Poke Bowl.
Aloha Poke Bowl, that is the last free plug I'm giving them. Next week, sponsored by Chipotle, because I really like Chipotle too.
Yeah, Chipotle.
I ate at Chipotle at the Max 3 times this week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
It's one of those things where like, I can do it.
Oh no, I didn't go Sunday because I felt bad because the girl recognized me because I went Friday night, Saturday night, and then she's like, "Oh, you're back again." I was like, "Awesome, that's weird that you remember me," and now I feel awkward. So big raise from Gerry again, 170K, and Mark calls. I think Gerry could get away with another. If Mark Mark did check, so Gerry should bet here. I mean, C-bet it, right? I mean, I think he is. 140, 120, somewhere in there. Third of the pot looks like. 140. Come on, Mo. 130. Good size bet, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's enough to get a lot of hands to fold, and yet it's not going to hurt you too much if he calls, right?
Correct.
Good bet size by Gerry. I'm hoping I'm spelling Jerry's name right, because his name is Gerald.
Yeah, it's Jay. We went over this.
Is it?
Remember that one time we were at Tinley Park, and I was like, Gerry with a G. He's like, no, it's actually a J, but I spell it. It's Gerald with a G. It's Gerald with a G, but it's Gerry with a J.
All right, Gerry, that seems crazy.
All right, so Mark just like made it 200,000 here.
Yeah, so he check raised him and got him to fold. Now, as we know, Mark had the much better hand there. I mean, he was ahead, but
Mark
pretty good
king high. So.
Pretty good move there. I like it. Maybe he smelled a little weakness.
Yeah, Jack 3 deuce.
Maybe I just commended Gerry on the good pot size bet, or the amount in comparison to the pot, and then Mark saw that as, he's weak. If he had any of this, he would have jammed a little bit more, and I think if Gerry had bet like 250 there,
well, he just folds.
Mark would have folded. Yeah, he made a play and it worked. Mark folds Queen 4 to a 9-5 Dolly Parton. You still call it Dolly Parton? I was looking the other day through Doyle Brunson's
Dolly
Super
Parton?
System. 9 to 5. She sang that song. Working 9 to 5.
Oh, yeah.
What a day to make a living. Working 9 to 5. That's
you.
all I know of this song.
Yeah.
And it's the title. Dolly Parton sings one of my favorite songs of all time. Jolene is the name of the song. And I really like it because the White Stripes did a cover of it, and it's incredibly good. We can't play it here because I'll get sued. Although I would very much like to get sued by Jack White.
That'd be awesome.
Because I think I'd get to meet him,
Yeah,
right?
for sure. At least in court.
Right. Like, he'd have to go, right? Now, he'd probably just send his lawyers, and then I'd be, like, super pissed. I was also trying to think about getting different music in the videos in general, and I asked Alex, I was like, is that whole, like, 30-second thing, as long as you don't use 30 seconds, more than 30 seconds of, like, any kind of copyrighted movies or music? He's like, no, that's really not true.
You know they have, like, a list of uncopyrighted music.
Yeah, you can Google it and find it. Normally they suck.
Yeah.
But I always wonder, like, how does, like, Nimi and Brad Owen and stuff use, music and like,
You should ask them.
I should
Maybe
ask
we should
them.
meet them.
I mean, we have. They were here 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And they have asked to come back. Now, they do want to come back and play 5-5.
Sweet, let's do 5-5.
Yeah, I know, that's crazy town. Can you imagine if he had 24 tables of 5-5 going? That would be nuts. I don't think it would happen. I think it would be...
Even if we got 12 tables of 5-5.
That would be cool. Gerry gets away with that one. Better hand wins, which is nice because that very rarely happens in poker. Lights out. Must be midnight, which means we're down to
The last hour.
last half hour, really.
Oh yeah, this is
Sunday night. Yeah. So in charity poker, we are on a time limit. So there are times when the event has to be, or the tournament has to be chip chopped because of the fact that it happens. And typically in some of these main events, that happens more often than not. Now, normally they agree to a chop well before that. Why is it that the casinos don't encourage chops? Why do they want you to play it all the way out? I'm just curious. I'm
not really sure.
Yeah, I don't really know if there's an
so
answer for it.
It's like one of those. It's like dependent. Like HPT, they'll just let you. I mean, as long as you do it on your own.
Correct. I mean,
they will pay. Like they will make it. Oh, we're gonna chop $2,500 a piece, and they will pay you $2,500 a piece. There's other places that are like, you guys can do whatever you want, but we're paying out.
So the only time I got to that World Series final table in that PLO event, the first year they did it at the Horseshoe, I played it, which was like 2008. It was a $2,500 buy, and it was awesome. And I bubbled, which really sucked. And then they chopped it 4 ways after I bubbled. And they played it out, but they played it out where 4th place would take 1st place money. So he'd have to pay the tax on the 1st place money. And technically that would be like a huge winner for the winner because he wins, doesn't actually get the title? Is that how it works?
Yeah, he doesn't get
the ring.
Accolades.
Right. I kind of would want the
but
ring.
I don't know. I would just want not to pay taxes.
King 5-5. It's going to scare both players a little bit here.
Jerry's got a flush draw.
Jerry does have a flush draw.
Mark has a flush draw.
Yeah, I mean a backdoor flush draw. It's funny, I was watching Mimi's vlog and he talked about front door flushes, and I was like, ooh, I never thought of it like that because he calls it the front door flush gets there on the river, and I was like, oh, I always just think of it as the flush draw. Right. Jerry checks, Mark's going to bet it out. Let's see if Jerry will call on a baby flush on a paired board.
I think so.
I don't know. He's considering he folded that open-ender, no flush out there. No flush draw.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's 1.5 to win 5 million. I mean, 500,000. No, 185.
That is correct.
You can go for a raise here. A raise would be kind of nice. I mean, obviously, no.
Raise would be sick, yeah.
But like, you can, if you're ever gonna bluff, like bluff with equity, you know.
What do you mean, bluff with equity?
Like bluff with 6 high when you got back up.
Right.
The flush draw.
So it's like a semi-bluff. Is that what he did?
Yeah.
He fires in $500,000.
Yeah.
No way.
Give yourself how many chances to win? 2 chances to win.
You do like it when you get to bet and have 2 chances to win.
They fold, you win. They call, you can still hit.
Wow.
Better than 1 chance to win.
Yeah, I would agree. 2 chances to win is better than 1
if he
chance
flats there and then it turns not a club.
Mark fires again, and
it's another tough decision. Okay, so you flat again because you just want to chase it down. You miss, you just lose.
You have no. Whereas if you check raise the flop, you might get a free turn card, and if it whiffs on the river, you could fire out into him and have some.
So I find myself also doing that a lot. Also, I check raise the flop in position just so I can.
Well, that is the tricky part here because he was not in position,
yeah.
Right? So he would have to have fired the turn no matter what came out if Mark had called that one. If he was going to continue the bet. Yeah, it sucks heads up to get such a massive hand like this because I feel like you very rarely get called. You got to play a little tricky.
Yeah, it's tough. And he's been opening so big. It's like it's kind of a little bit
fishy to make it like 100K. Now he doesn't. He throws in. Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
That's why you gotta win. You don't have to win, but.
So you made it 180.
When you look 4 deuce.
And in all honesty, that 4-3 is probably not getting in a lot here ever.
But yeah, do you ever raise the flop just because you know they're going to check the turn? Do you check it back and see if you're?
I guess in position, yes.
Yeah, in position. Nice.
But it's a little tougher to do.
Because people are, if somebody bets the flop and you raise them, and they call, like they check in the turn.
Yeah.
So that you can just check back. Now you saw it.
The tough part is, what do you do when the guy bets into you again?
Leads out on the turn.
Yeah, it's just like shit.
It's so strong.
Yeah. I thought Jerry was tipping Mo, but that was just his ante. Mark, a little baby suited, makes it 140 to go.
Mark's got to be a little annoyed that he doesn't have any 25Ks. He's got.
Considering he had a massive chip stack
Yeah,
to
just
start.
every time he puts out a little race, he's got to.
It's like a chunk of chips. Pretty amazing that Gerry's been able to fight back here, because he was like bottom stack coming into this.
Yeah.
And now after, surviving so long, now he's a chip leader.
There you go. Since the final 7, he's up 3.4.
No, that's just their chip
That's
count.
their chip count.
Player position as well as chip count. I always find it fun too that when you get a final table and the two guys happen to be sitting next to each other, and those are the two that play heads up. Would you rather play a guy heads up? It's an arbitrary thing to think about, but do you think there's a difference if like it was the 2-seat and like the 7-seat, so you're like looking across from each other, or is it better to be like right next to each other? I mean, now Gerry's just eyeballing the shit out of his stack.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know a lot of places like readjust them to like
Really?
sit across from each other at the final.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Gerry limps and Mark checks. Gerry with the better hand in position. And the more chips. Let's see what.
Mark flops middle pair, which heads up, you gotta be pretty happy about. Check Gerry. Gerry's option.
All right, so I think I've seen this move out of Marky Mark. I think he's also going to check. Actually, maybe not.
Queen sucks, because now we've just flip-flop.
Yeah, now he's going to probably bet. He likes to like check twice to get, the other guy to bluff.
Right. Problem is he's not bluffing
Nope,
anymore.
not anymore.
All right, looks like 120. About half size the pot.
2 flush draws out there, a bunch of straight draws. I mean, Gerry can do either. He can raise, he can call. He's going to call. A lot of bad rivers.
4 is not one of them. Backdoor flush hits, though.
And the straight hits, but yeah.
Gerry checks. Oh, no, Mark checks it this time. Which I think is a good check.
Check. Gerry doesn't go for value.
He's happy to take it down.
He's happy to take it down, yeah. Maybe a better kicker with his queen.
So now we had something come up, and I want to talk about it because it's a rules thing. So they're heads up. They check. Gerry shows first because he has to show first, right?
Okay. I mean, Mark showed first there, but yeah.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Well, that kind of screws up my rules question.
Sorry, but go on as if Gerry showed first.
Let's say Gerry showed first. Or let's say Gerry didn't have to, right? He can wait till Mark shows and then show his hand, even though he won, right? At what point can a player ask to see another player's hand?
So heads up, it should be never, right?
I don't know. I'm asking. Like, per TDA, do they change heads up? I mean...
My interpretation of the rule is that...
Ooh, Mark with kings, Gerry with a weak ace. This could be a good hand. And Mark limped in.
See? He's balancing.
I know. Get the check from Gerry.
Kind of unfortunate for Mark that...
He's
Gerry
got
doesn't-
an ace.
And Gerry doesn't raise his ace.
Yeah. So your interpretation of the rule is?
Queen deuce deuce is that on a called hand, if a player asks to see it, it should only be because of thinking that they're cool.
But heads up, you can't. Right.
And then I know that there's specific places that will let you.
Gerry bets out 100K here with Mark's kings.
I mean, Gerry should really have the best handle out here, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
You like a call here from Mark, or do you like a raise? Looks like he's raising.
I think Mark's raising, just praying that Gerry has a queen.
Right.
It's either kind of like...
And willing to lose the tournament if he's got a deuce. Just like, man, it was meant to be. I got second. It is what it is.
Can't get away.
Get a little value at this point. You'd hate to peel an ace in the turn and then just be mortified. Or spade, or,
So I know that there's places where you can ask to see a player's hand like a certain amount of time, an hour.
Sorry, that was a small commercial break for Ken. My wife called and I had to pee, so
Double whammy.
double whammy. All right, we're halfway through. Let's do some CCG plugs. Actually, let's wait, because Mark just raised here to 225.
Yeah.
Is that even a valid raise?
100 to 225.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Really?
It's 125,000 more. You could have made it 200.
Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad. Chipping up a little bit for Marky Mark there. Nice hand for kings.
Yeah.
So, plug for CCG. We're about half hour in, which is our normal time frame to kind of plug. What do we got coming up tomorrow? Because this is Thursday night.
Oaklawn, Meadowa.
Oaklawn, double event, Oaklawn, Meadowa. And what's the deal at Oaklawn?
What is it? 3.5K?
3.5K guaranteed deep stack. So you got to come out for that one.
Yeah, it's nice.
And the Northsiders come out and play at Meadowa because it's been a pretty good turnout. I mean, it's a small turnout, but I mean, it's cash game's been firing right at 2:30. Normally get 2 solid 1-2 games. So if you're a 1-2 fan, it's a great spot to go. 50 min, 300 max. It's the old 1-2 game. And then
3 tables in the bird, 2 tables in the tweener, 2 tables in the deep stack.
That's been the standard. You know, I mean, it's a good, if, you know, I guess you can kind of pick your poison this week. If you want to play a smaller deep stack, go to Meadowa. If you want to play a big deep stack, go to Oak Lawn because it should be a 4-tabler deep, good deep stack. Plus with last outs and stuff, I mean, it's a juicy one.
And for all you latecomers, I'm starting to ride at 6:30, so
no complaints.
yeah.
We did have to do one time at Oak Lawn. Remember, there were like 4 people who signed up, and you're like, we got to fire this thing. And you just started the tournament with nobody in.
Yeah, I just started.
Nobody had sat down yet.
Yep.
It was great.
I mean, yeah. It was one of those things where, like, well, they weren't going to stop playing cash until I started, and I wasn't going to start it until they stopped playing cash. And it was like 6:50, and there was 2 people sitting down, so I started the speech with 2 people. And everybody's looking at me like, what are you doing? I'm like, somebody's got to sit down. We ended up with like 25 players, 27 players.
It was great. It's kind of the good and the bad thing about late registration, right? Is that poker players like to come in late. They also like to complain about the structure. I don't mean complain. Everybody's worried about the structure, but then it's like I feel like people come late and it totally nullifies the idea of a deep stack tournament.
Yeah.
Other people don't like to play deep stacks, and it's kind of the best of both worlds. So it's a little tough, but, you know, what are you going to do?
Gerry turns an 8 with my favorite hand.
Yep, Jack 8.
Mark's got a gun.
Get Turbo. He's going to need a 5 and a 5 alone. Nice thing is he's got 4 live outs. It's true. Well, the table will tell you if one of your 5s got folded. Not really as much different than when you're playing heads up, but if it was a full table,
it won't tell you the 5 got.
It'll still show the correct odds, which I think is neat. But he's only 10% chance here.
Yeah, 4 5s.
Deuce on the river. Jerry's got top pair. I can't imagine he's gonna.
That's a great river for Gerry.
Yeah. Deuce. None of the straights get there, right? Nothing gets there. It's literally a wet napkin, as Paul likes to say. Remember when he yelled out, "Wet napkin"?
Which Paul?
Paul. PLO Paul.
Oh.
Paul Johnson. JP.
He took me $25 for the game. Keep the game going.
Nice.
That's nice. He got $1,800 on my dollars, so $1,775.
He gave you a $25 rebate. Is what he gave you.
Well, you just felt bad. It just threw me a Greenberg, but
Yep.
I'm not.
He's like, here you go. Here's a $25 rebate for keeping the game going. Thanks for playing. All right, Gerry bets out, and Mark obviously folds. He's not calling here with a 4 high, 6 high. This was a good final table. And I was surprised that they played this long heads up. I mean, they played an hour of heads up, which is nutso. Which is great. What else do I want to talk about?
Do we have a stack on Saturday?
Not this Saturday.
Oh, we just have a regular Warrenville?
I think it's a regular Warrenville.
Well, last Warrenville deep stacks
had like 70 people. Right, it was nuts.
Yeah, Warrenville's actually been picking up pretty nice.
Tournament-wise, it's that like St. Andrews crew. It's that like west suburb. You know, the guys and gals that live out like West Chicago, Naperville, Aurora. All of those players end up coming to Warrenville because it's much closer. But for some reason, they won't drive to like Oak Lawn.
Well, I think that's what makes Warrenville so much busier. It's like, oh, well, that's where they're at this month. That's, you know,
right.
They're going to come to CCG when we're in Warrenville and just not come all the other times. But when we're in Warrenville, they're not going to miss it.
Correct.
Which is not St. Andrews. It's not terrible.
Not terrible. Yeah, just a regular deep stack on Saturday, and then Sunday's event is in jeopardy.
Yes.
It's tough. We'll announce that maybe tonight if it's going to go or not. So for those of you watching, thank you for watching. But Sunday might be a no-go. We'll see what happens. Gerry does not have a license as of today, which is pretty subject to not happening. 80-20 against. All right. Gerry raises or opens with the ace-queen, and Mark gives it up with the queen-3. Good thing, because that would have been tough. Can we talk about Chinese poker? We only had a couple guys show up for Chinese on Friday.
Hold on. What's this graphic mean? Cumulative winnings. Mark 20. He's down.
So Mark came to the final table with $1 million and change.
Oh yeah, I see.
Gerry came to the table with nothing and now has 3.5 million.
I see. I understand.
Or 3.8 or whatever it is.
So what are we talking about now? Chinese. So Chinese is on Sundays.
Fridays. Friday nights.
Friday nights. Chinese poker. Come on.
Come out and play. If you don't know how to play, we'll teach you. They were literally doing just different cash games, just having a good time. It's just a different game to play. It's fun. It's different.
We didn't rank it.
It's super addictive. Yeah, it's totally free to the players to play. It's just to get more people in the room playing different stuff.
And there's actually, like, between, like, the dealers up to, like, me and Pat, there's, like, a wide range of stakes you can play.
Correct.
Like, you can play for 10 cents a point, or 25 cents a point, or 50, or $1, or $2, or $5, or $10.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's
a lot of stuff you can play,
but don't want to play for free. Like a quarter a point. I mean, even if you lose 100 points, which is you losing a lot, it's $25.
Right.
It's fun.
It is fun. And it's a game of ups and downs, and there's a ton of strategy.
Yeah, it's swinging,
but it's one of those things that you have to, like, play in order to kind of get the strategy.
better.
And there's still some suck outs and stuff, because, I mean, it's like, oh, I'm down to, I got to hit 2 pair in the middle to get such and such, and you're trying to sweat a deuce or an 8, and it's so much fun.
And you can go full psycho mode if you want and just gamble every hand.
I do a lot.
And then you can go full pack conservative mode and
play very easy.
Yeah. It is fun.
It's good. It's a fun game. You guys should come and play. Plus, we play in the app all the time.
Yeah.
Gerry's got a gut shot. Mark's got Zippo. I guess he's got an open ender. Nope, he's got the same gut shot that Gerry has, which would be an unfortunate king. Or, sorry,
Jack.
I'll get there. Jack to come out. I knew it was a face card.
Yeah, Jack would win the tournament probably. So Mark raised pre-checked the flop. He's gonna bet the turn. He figures, you know, Gerry is gonna bet his hands that he makes if he's Gerry doesn't check twice too often with a hand. I think Gerry's just doing a little posturing, and we'll eventually lay this down. And he does. Mark takes it down.
Good bet by Mark.
All right, so 1.3, 3.6. So Mark's just hanging out. They're both kind of just hanging out. The only thing that does kind of stink about the chip chop looming is that, like, the play could get a little different because of it.
And it slows down because it's you're on a time limit. Right. So Gerry could easily here just kind of, it puts all of the pressure on Mark
right.
and no pressure on Gerry, who Gerry continues to get just great hands.
Right. Like, I mean, if there was no time limit, Gerry might steamroll, you know, and or just not mind really doubling, not mind, but take a risk to try and end the tournament. Here, he really has no, like, why would you ever?
There's no equity to do that.
Risk? Like, he is still going to raise ace-10 suited, but, like, he's kind of going to play small ball. He's not going to make big bluffs. He's not going to, you know, play big pots necessarily because he's got.
Jeez, it seems like every time Gerry gets a great hand, Mark's just got donkey hands.
Donkey hands.
Well, I wanted to say something else, but I changed it halfway through.
I see. I don't think donkeys have hands.
Nope, they don't. They have hooves.
So yeah, right now, if they chip chopped it, if it ended right now, they both get second place money, and then Gerry would get 3/4 of the remaining money.
Correct.
3/4 of the chips.
Which is tough.
It is, because he really doesn't have that much more to gain. You can only gain 25% more, you know.
Right.
You can lose 75%.
Raise it up.
Just as I say that, Gerry raising Jack 10. Marky Mark. So Mark's down to 14 bigs now.
He's starting to get into panic mode, huh?
He is, and now it gets to the point where Mark almost doesn't. If it gets down a little more, it's where like Mark doesn't even have that much to lose
By jamming it in.
by jamming because he's not really.
The equity's not there.
He's not giving up that much money.
And number 99. So we're on a time limit here. They're down to probably what? Maybe
15 minutes.
yeah, 10.
So we probably got a dozen hands left. Mark's got a dozen hands. But you know, one double up and they're 50-50 in chips, and then it's
Correct.
an even chop.
Which is great.
So,
At that point, they probably just chop it anyways.
Right, no need to count.
No
chips.
force chopped. First all in, heads up for Mark, where he's actually at risk.
Yeah.
Doesn't get Gerry to call with the Queen 5 suited. I feel like in a different setting, that might have been a hand that you would rip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Might have been one of those ones that you ripped.
And we just
rip
talked
it in.
about, and now Mark doesn't have that much to lose, and he shoves. So he's aware of it.
I find that Mark's a pretty strong player.
Yeah.
So, folks, if you're playing against Mark,
Fold.
Ken said he's a good player.
Fold.
Don't feel bad by losing. That's all I meant.
Oh, yeah.
Still play, but don't feel bad.
All
He's an
right.
accomplished player.
So he's limping here with the Ace King. Taking the Brando strategy.
I like the Brando strategy.
It's great.
When does your masterclass come out? Soon?
Yeah. Come to the horseshoe. Learn.
I'll bet. And then you bet again. Gerry binks a 3.
I just saw the time on most phone. It was 12:20. So
Yep. King of the turn is the old switcheroo, as my dear friend King likes to yell, switching! I had to play with that guy 5'10".
how did he get home?
Uber. I think his son got him an Uber.
Okay.
He said Aber was busy and he couldn't get him an Uber. He's like, can you get me an Uber? Which is a good thing, because you don't want that guy driving around.
Oh, that guy should not drive over. Now that he knows my name.
You're in trouble.
Brendan. I don't see why.
So this is a tough spot for Gerry. Gerry flops middle pair. I mean, granted, it's a 3, but there's a deuce out there, so it is technically middle pair. They check the flop, which he might be regretting at this point. Then he bets out the turn when the king hits, and Mark comes over the top all in. Jerry's just not going to give him a chance to win any more chips.
I mean, if Mark's semi-bluffing there with like Queen Jack,
Doesn't matter. Or hearts.
or Queen, like you just got to give it to him.
And what do they call it? I've been listening to a lot of vlogs lately. Jerry's got 0 showdown value. Just not a lot of value there to show down the 6-3. Yeah? I mean, anything a guy's going to be betting with, unless it's just a bluff, it's going to be tough. I mean, you're certainly not going to call it all in with a 3. Although knowing Gerry the way he's running in this tournament, he probably should have called. He'd have binked a 6 on the river. I almost kind of wish we could show some rabbit cards just to kind of see what would have happened, which would be kind of
We
cool.
always talk about this.
I know, and we never do it. It's just not something that's normal in tournaments, and it's not like they ever do that in the World Series or something where I think it's neat, but
How many people know your phone number?
too many. I did have a fun day on Thursday calling one of those. It was the Social Security Administration calling me that they needed information because my Social Security number was on hold. And I was like, that's not even a thing. Like, come up with a better scam. And the guy's got like a super heavy accent. I'm just like, come on. Does anybody fall for this shit? Because it's awful. Be a better criminal.
Right.
Jack 4 versus Jack 9 here.
Like, they have a better chance of getting money out of me if by like calling and being like, "Yeah, the White House is on fire and we need your donations." I'd be like, "All right, here's $10."
It would be like, hi, this is PBS. We want to know if you want to donate $10 for Sesame Street. Like, I'd be like, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
fine.
sure.
I dig Sesame Street. Here's my $10. Take my credit card and then run it up and see how much I have got on there.
Yeah.
Fine. That I would fall for.
Telling me my Social Security card is expired or on hold or
So now Gerry ends up fighting back at him, bets it out, and gets Mark to fold a better hand there.
Ooh, here's some legs being packed up.
Oh, yeah, it's the end of the night. Everybody's going. We're down to 5 minutes left here, Brando. Do you think anything exciting is going to happen here?
I think we're on cruise control.
They're just phoning it in.
Yeah, I mean, Mark's trying to double, and he's got a good spot here.
Yep, let's hope he can get it. Now, is this one of those ones you want to limp in?
I don't know. I would just.
He is.
I'm thinking about just shoving.
So now the blinds did go up. They're 40-80 now.
Maybe just all in. Or limp. One of the two.
I mean, at this
he's
point,
baiting Gerry.
He's trying to get him to raise him and hope Gerry will make a move on him and he can shove over the top or something. Flop a queen. Jerry's a chip toucher.
He is.
He likes to touch his chips. He checks it. I like it though. He doesn't. It's the same move no matter what. If he's got a hand, if he doesn't have a hand, it's the same stuff, which is good, right? I mean, that's what players should try to do, or right? I mean, be consistent. Shouldn't be all loosey goosey eating a sandwich at the table.
All right. 200,000. Negreanu.
I like Daniel Negreanu. I actually checked to see if he had any more vlogs out. He doesn't. He said he was going to vlog when he goes to not Reykjavik. Where do they do the World Series? The last event that counts for the Player of the Year.
That hasn't happened yet?
Regargavik?
Yeah.
Something Vic.
Was it
Rajnavak?
Razmadov?
Razmadov. Is that a place?
Razmadov?
Or am I just making up words? Razmadov?
Seems like it should be Russian.
Where is the last WSOP POY tournament? Yeah, Dan Negreanu is in third place, about 300,000 behind Robert Campbell and Sean Deeb. And I'm trying to see if I can figure out.
I think the question is, where's Razmadov?
Is it called Razvadov?
Something like that.
Jerry's got another ace.
Where is...
It says World Series of Poker Europe, so let's click on that.
Razvadov.
What do they win for the World Series Player of the Year? Do you know?
I don't know.
Razvadov, Czech Republic.
I said that. That's what I said. Czech Republic.
Point system, exclusions, leaderboard. Doesn't say what you win, though. I mean, I don't think Dan Negreanu cares about the money. He wants to win to be the Player of the Year.
I don't even know if you win money.
It's just the title.
Yeah.
It's funny. I only know golf stuff, and they asked Rory McIlroy because there's the FedEx playoffs now. Like the last three tournaments of the year is kind of cuts down the field. It's like the top 120, and then it's the top 100, then it's the top 70, and then it goes down to 30. I think it goes top 100, then it cuts down to top 70, and then from 70 it goes down to 30. Yeah, it's only 3 events, and everybody in that final 30 from the FedEx points, I think it is guaranteed $1 million. And first place is like $15 million. And they asked Rory McIlroy, like, are you playing for the money? And he was like, no. I don't care about the $15 million. I hope at some point in my life I cannot care about $15 million.
Yeah.
Because you also win like $1.8 million for the tournament. So it's really like $17 million that you win.
People that are rich just get so much richer.
Right.
It's like sweet.
Yeah, it seems good. Seems good to be rich.
Yeah. It's like I always tell Eric, like when we're playing PLL, I'm like, the hard part is just getting your 500 up to 3,000. Like 3,000 to 5,000. That's easy.
Right.
It's like the same thing. Like
running up a small stack into a big stack is way harder than taking your big stack and doubling through somebody and you turn your
just picking up pots and
3K into 6.
Around. Right.
Yeah, you win more pots that way because you're less likely. I mean, everybody else is playing the smaller tournament or smaller cash game, and you can really bully the shit out of people.
Like, do people even know how much money they have? Like, these people with all this money, do they even know? Like, does Jay-Z know how much he has?
Yeah, I mean,
he has no idea.
Does he wake up in the morning and look at his Chase account and be like, oh, I wonder what I got in there today?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Like, he probably doesn't even have his login to his Chase.
Mm-mm. He's got an accountant that looks in there. Yeah, he probably doesn't even have
he doesn't even have the app on his phone.
Oh my God, that's great. He doesn't have to worry about, do I have enough in my checking account to cover those checks I wrote?
Do I need to transfer something from my savings?
Right.
No.
Oh, that's great. That's so true. Freaking Jay-Z.
Do they even use credit cards?
Is he a billionaire?
It's got to be close. He doesn't even know.
It always reminds me of Entourage when like they meet with the accountant. He's like, Vinny, you got to stop spending money on. He's like, what do you rent a house for? $80,000 a month. You know, it's like good God.
We need a house.
Yeah, it's just like, how does that happen? That always blows my mind too when people are renting houses at like an absurd amount of money. I think this might be down to one of the last two hands. So they've got a hand count. They know it. Gerry outflops him again. Mark tries to hero call here with a 4.
So this is one of those calls for Mark where like he makes more than he loses by calling.
Right. If he wins, it's a bigger percentage of what he's going to get out of the chip chop versus not.
Oh yeah, I think this is second to last hand here.
Yep.
There's two hands.
Might be it. Well, folks, it was an incredible CSOP this year. We had an awesome turnout. I mean, really great events. I love doing all the mixed games, and it's kind of a tease because so many people are like, oh, why don't you do more funny tournaments? Because people really seem to enjoy them. Maybe it's just the monotony of always playing No Limit.
Yeah, like week in and week. But you still have to have some no limits in our.
Oh, absolutely.
Series,
I mean, look at the World Series. Most of them are no limit events.
Still got to be a 1,500 no limit every couple days.
Right. At the World Series.
Yes.
So it's kind of nice to do some different stuff.
Right. Shout out to my horse, Alex, points winner.
Points winner, Alex. He did. He won a trophy and everything.
Yeah. Brought
And a free seat. Did he cash in the tournament or no? The main event?
No.
He didn't free roll it?
Rebuy.
Any of the main event guys free roll in on a free seat? I'm trying to think if anybody did.
Maybe Gerry?
Gerry might have, actually. You're right.
I think he did.
He might have. And he's won the
He
main
might
event.
have won the sit and go. He might have won the...
I think he did. You're right. So he didn't win a free seat from the points list. He got into the free roll.
Right, which is 11
through 20, and then binked off a seat out of that and turned it into a big fat payoff.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. That's going to be a W for Gerry, and Mark takes a bit of a beating there. I mean, just unlucky on a couple of rivers. And
So 80-20.
80-20 is going to be
Mark
the
ain't getting
ICM.
much more than second place money there.
No, not much. But that's all right. Well, thank you for watching Thursday Night Commentary. Next week, Brandon, we're going to do which one? Summer Saver?
Summer
I think it's Summer Saver, so that's another great one.
Featuring Mark.
Featuring Mark at the final table. He's kind of just, he might be final table Marky Mark now. He might have taken the title from Brian. But that's going to do it for this week. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you next week for Thursday Night Commentary with Ken and Brandon.
Whoa.
Brian.
No.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.